This thing is blowing up before our eyes. It is a very sizable fire that is spreading rapidly. It is a dire situation in the city of Los Angeles right now. And to see a fire this size exploding the way it is, ripping through Nichols Canyon here, or at least adjacent to Nichols Canyon, is just the most ominous thing I can think of. Oh my goodness. Look at this. It's already spotting. I'm sorry, Mark. This fire is already spotting as the wind is blowing the flames downhill. LA City Fire just wrapping their hands.
What's up, y'all? What's up? I'm back. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. As y'all see, I've been gone for a little bit, but now I'm back. I will be talking about the live first aerial views of wildfires burning throughout Southern California. First and foremost, I'd like to send my condolences to the families that passed away. This was a very tragic event that's happening right now. I'd like to send my thoughts and prayers to everyone that's, across the world, that's on the West Coast or whatever. Yeah, that's basically it. But yeah, it's crazy going on over there in California right now. I don't think I could ever live over there because of situations like this or whatever. So every city and different part of the states got their own tragedies that be happening. Like you got down south Florida and all that, they be having hurricanes and stuff like that, and tragedies and all that type of stuff. So then you got the West Coast where you got wildfires. It's always hot and wildfires be spreading. And it's just a lot, man. Like people losing their house, losing their families and stuff like that. So it's just very tragic. Once again, I'd like to send my thoughts and prayers out to the families that's involved in this situation. Yeah, so we're gonna go back and see what's going on with the news, because this is a live news coverage, breaking news coverage. ABC 7 over there in California is covering this, and we will be hearing what they're talking about over there. So enjoy, like, comment, subscribe, and we will be talking about this. Let me know what y'all think in the comments as well about what y'all think about this tragedy. Also, we will be talking about the Jim Jones versus Cameron beef and many more topics. We can cover some more topics, but this is my first live video back in over a week. It's been a journey. I gained over 900 subscribers. So let's get this show started, y'all.
Around this one, trying to get as many resources from across the city and from across the county into position. I am stunned by the speed. We should expect it at this point. It shouldn't be shocking. We can only be grateful that this is starting tonight and not last night when those winds were much faster. Now you have a brand new fire start that could be as serious as anything else we have seen in the last 24 hours if it does not get under control. And we can only hope and cross our fingers and pray that they can get as many air resources on this as soon as possible and continue to drop water on this fire. Now, that's a good sign right there. Those are folks along Camino Palmero Street that are now fleeing the neighborhood. Those are evacuees coming down Camino Palmero.
This is crazy. Everybody got to evacuate the city, man. This is crazy. Like, where's people going to go? Where's people going to live? Like, this is insane. Like, you can't go nowhere in California. Like, I can't say that, but it's just crazy, man. Like, you got to evacuate your home, leave your family behind, and relocate. If you don't have any money, you got to find shelter and stuff like that. It's just crazy, man. Like, I don't know if I can live like this. I really don't. I don't know what I would do. I don't know. Like, I can't live in California, man, because of situations like this. This always goes on, but this is probably one of the worst wildfires that ever happened, from what I'm hearing, from what I know so far. Wildfires goes on all the time in California, and the fire department can't control it. There's nothing they can do. They can't put it out because it's going to keep spreading and spreading. There's so much trees and land that's going on out there. The wildfires is just hitting them trees and then just burning all the trees down, burning buildings and burning homes. And It's just crazy, man. Like sad, sad, very sad.
Palmero Street on from left to right there towards Hollywood Boulevard. Those are all folks. That street dead ends, and those folks are now coming away from the fire. So folks are definitely heeding the warnings. They're getting word of this, and they're getting out fast.
All right, that was our Chris Christie in Air 7. He saw the fire and watched it progress and watched the effort to fight it that ended up being successful. We sent our Tim Caputo out to that area to cover it from the ground. Similar stories of success. No structures lost with regard to this fire, but it was an effort and a real job for LA City Fire and other agencies. Tim.
You're absolutely right, Mark. And I'll pick up where Chris Christie left off, because as we were pulling up, Franklin Street, which we were coming down, was absolutely jam-packed with people. Even Hollywood Boulevard was packed with people who were evacuating from this area. We're on Fuller Avenue. You see the fire trucks behind me. What you don't see, even in the darkness here, is any kind of glow from this fire, because they've done a really incredible job knocking down this fire since the early goings. They essentially had support from above and firefighters here on the ground. The big concern, obviously, this is a heavily packed area with people, with homes, with apartment buildings. You see the apartment buildings here on Fuller, and I'll walk you around and show you what the obvious concern is, and was at least earlier this evening, is as you go down, it is nothing but homes, apartments, and businesses. So if any of these homes caught fire or apartment complexes, the fear would be it would go down beyond the Hollywood Heights into Hollywood, and then even beyond that. The good news is they really worked quickly on this fire, getting it under control and at least stopping the spread down the canyon into the heavily populated areas. Now, I should mention, because I've had a number of people come up to me in the last 30, 40 minutes or so asking me, hey, can we go back to our house? I don't see a fire right now. Hold on. I mean, evacuations, obviously, they start off very quickly and they end very slowly. And that's an important thing, because they want to make sure this fire is out before people go back inside their apartments or go back inside their homes before anything bad happens. You see people here with some dogs walking right past the fire line, trying to go back into their apartment. Not a smart idea right now, folks, because obviously, while the fire, just under 60 acres right now, seems mostly under control, you don't want things to flare up again and things to get worse. Obviously, when you talk about the evacuation area, you're talking about Hollywood Boulevard North, all the way from Laurel Canyon to the 101. It's a huge area. It's a lot of homes, a lot of apartments here, but they wanted to make sure that the fire didn't come down and catch any of these homes here. That's why the evacuation order was put into place. That's why the evacuation order is still in place, and they're just urging people to chill out a little bit. Let them get their job done, give these firefighters room to work, making sure they can get real good work on the fire. And check it out. We get some of the guys and girls who are up there working on the fire. It's tough terrain up there with a lot of steep terrain, trying to make those lines, trying to make some progress on any of those hot spots. But obviously, you see there, people trying to go back to their apartments, but the work is still being done out there. So folks, give it a beat, especially when it comes to these evacuation orders near the Sunset Fire, where it may seem like things are done. It's not done just yet. Better be safe than sorry. Wait it out potentially for the night, Mark, because obviously the concern is still here.
Okay, Tim Caputo, thank you. Runyon Canyon Park, the biggest dog park in Los Angeles. It's an off-leash dog park and arguably one of the most popular hiking areas in the entire city. And it is a very well-known area, and so people want to get back up there as soon as they can. The good news is that fire still being dealt with, but it's on the right side at this point. Jory Rand has been covering the Palisades fire, and now as it progresses into the Brentwood area, Mandeville Canyon, another area of concern. Jory joining us now live. Jory?
Hey, Mark. Yeah, we're about halfway between Pacific Palisades proper and Mandeville Canyon. To take you behind the scenes for some of our viewers of what we've been dealing with today. When Pacific Palisades burned down, all of the infrastructure in town burned down as well. That means the cell towers were gone. We broadcast most of the time when we're in the field through cell signals, and that has been entirely.
So they said cell towers is down as well. So that means people can't even use their phones out there in California. People can't use their phones. How can you live like that? Your house is burning down. I can't call nobody because the towers is down. My phone ain't working. I got to evacuate my family, my loved ones away from my area if my area is burning down, because the fires is spreading so bad that the fire department can't control it. You can't control no fires. It take a lot to put one little fire out. One fire, it take a big fire. My fault. Not a little fire. It take a damn whole firefighter department to put one fire out, one burning building. So imagine how many fire departments. It can't be that many fire departments. It can't. You can't. Like you. I don't know. It's crazy, man.
Wiped out. So every time we've had to report today, it's been very difficult. We kind of report on the scene, go somewhere where a signal pops up, and feed our reports from there. That's why we're at a roadblock here on Sunset Boulevard and not in Pacific Palisades proper or Mandeville Canyon. It's just really tough to get a signal in an area at an elevation that's already tough already. But I do want to take you a bit through our day today, day number 2 here in Pacific Palisades, beginning with our drive into town. And really, it was a haunting scene as we came into Pacific Palisades today. We saw the homes burning last night, and today, once the sun was up, we saw what that meant in reality. And for a lot of these families, it's going to be a sad reality because their homes are gone. This is on Iliff Street. This is 2 blocks over from Chautauqua, which we have spent a lot of time on. But really, it could be any street in this neighborhood, any of these streets. I drove up Alma Real and took similar video from what our photographer Sean Callis took that you're viewing right now. Row after row and street after street, home after home, now gone. On Sunset in Palisades Village, the Chase Bank there is entirely burned out. Both of the supermarkets, the grocery stores that serve Pacific Palisades, the Gelsons and the Ralphs, are now both gone as well. Schools were lost, churches were lost, including United Methodist Community Church on De La Paz. That is now gone as well. We visited that location this evening and watched nothing but the frame of that building continue to burn to the ground. And then, of course, we reported many times from that home on Bester Boulevard, where there were 2 homes that had not burned until today. One of them went up in flames. Firefighters from 2 different companies, one from Santa Monica Fire and one from LAFD, stepped in to put out flames twice in that home to make sure it did not spread. We also spoke with a couple security officers who were coming up here and making sure that there were no looters looting homes, which was a problem. We heard from the sheriff several arrests have been made, and they were making sure it didn't happen again at their clients' homes. Take a listen.
This is the most gruesome scene I've ever seen in my life. It's like a war zone. We just went through 10, 12 blocks. Everything is burnt down. Live wires everywhere. We're trying to get to a location, but might be too many live wires down on the ground. But we do want to go check on my client's property.
Yeah, what's
make sure that there's
looters?
There's looters. We got some calls saying there's looters. So we're going to try to see what's going on down there.
So those security officers were looking at their clients' homes. We saw other security officers bringing up entire families to look at what was left of their home. We saw one family of 4, and we asked them if they would like to speak with us. They said no, they didn't even want to be on camera. And of course, we will respect that in this difficult time for them and so many of these families, because life is much different today than it was yesterday or the day before for hundreds or thousands of families. You saw that driving video. That is the norm in Pacific Palisades. If you are able to survive this with your home intact, that is a rarity. There are small pockets and single homes who, by chance, were able to make this through unscathed, but that, by and large, Pacific Palisades is no longer, especially what it was just 48 hours ago. It is a much different place. Hundreds, if not thousands of homes have been lost in this fire, and it's just a devastating scene. It's been hard to report on. And as you heard from that security officer, it is very upsetting visually, emotionally, when you think about what this means to people and the residents who are going to have to return home to see this. And that scene is going to play out hundreds of times as this is opened back up over the next few days or weeks. And folks watching at home, many still do.
So like I was saying, it's a tragedy that's going on right now in California, y'all. Like, once again, I gotta send my prayers to the families that's involved in this situation. I gotta send my prayers. This is just a thing we call life, and some things we can't control. This is one of them things we can't control. There's situations like this. This is definitely a disaster. Schools is getting burned down. Houses is getting burned down. Stores, grocery stores, cell phone towers. Like, what can you do? What should you do if you in a situation like this? Like, if you're watching this video, I need you to let me know What would you do in a situation like this? How would you feel? Because I really don't know. I don't know what I would do. I've been in a fire. My house got caught on fire before. I know that tragedy. I know. I will never forget the smell of the smoke, the fire blazing over my head, me being asleep. I would never ever forget that smell. And I was young. I probably was like 12 years old, 11 years old when that happened, when my house caught on fire. It was horrible. It was horrible. I almost lost my life. I was in there. My sisters wasn't in there, but it was me, my mom, and my dad. My mom and dad was in the other room. I was in my room. The fire started in my room. The next thing you know it started from a little space heater. Started from a little space heater. Next thing you know, I guess the cord was broken or taped up. Yeah, the cord was taped up. So it was an electrical fire. It was an electrical fire that happened to me in my house that my dad still currently lives in right now. He went in, fixed it up and everything like that. And years ago, he fixed it all up. Still doing work to this day. Still doing work in the house during this day, to this day. So it was bad, man. These fires ain't no joke. Fires, I hate fires, man. I hate it, man. I hate it. I'm traumatized by it. I will never forget the smell. I'll never forget how it looked. Even though I was younger, that's just one thing I just can't never forget. It's just horrible, man. It's horrible. Once again, send my thoughts and prayers to everybody that's involved in California. That is tragedy, man. This is just so sad. So that's why I said I had to cover a little bit of this because it's crazy. Like, this is the number one thing that's going on in the world right now, and it's very important that we discuss this.
Do not know whether their homes survived, and it's going to be just a tragic march back into Pacific Palisades to try and pick up some of the pieces and rebuild. And we will see what happens, and we will be there to cover it as well as this community begins the long road to recovery. Reporting live in the middle of Sunset Boulevard in Pacific Palisades, Jory Rand, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Jory Rand, thank you. In the words of LA Mayor Karen Bass, the community will rise again, and we will, of course, be there to chronicle all of that. In the meantime, though, the community dealing with this emergency, and we have Michelle Fisher on Pacific Coast Highway, where we take the good news where we can find it. In a row of homes that have been burned to the ground, there is one directly behind you still standing. Michelle?
Yeah, we heard Jory talking about it, how this community has just been devastated by the Palisades fire. And that's also the case here along Pacific Coast Highway, where we have seen just sheer devastation, home after home after home, reduced to rubble. Beachfront properties that were once beautiful mansions no longer standing. It is really difficult to see and report on. So right now we're on Pacific Coast Highway.
I know it's a lot of celebrities that's impacted by this too, because there's a lot of celebrities that live in California. It's a lot of celebrities, and this is the good part of California. Well, yeah, this is Malibu, California. So I don't know what else parts everything caught fire. I don't know if it caught fire in Hollywood, if it was wildfires in Hollywood, or different parts of California, because California is so big that you don't know. But it says 17,230 plus acres, 0% containment. That's crazy. That's crazy. Just hearing that is just sound insane. So I know a lot of celebrities is impacted by this. And I know it's going to be a lot of celebrities that's going to move outside of California, because these wildfires, man, destroy everything that you worked hard for, man. Every single thing you worked hard for, the fires will take it down. And there's nothing you can do. You got to replace every single thing that you lost. When I was in my fire, I lost everything: clothes, shoes, everything. Thank God that I made it out. Thank God my mom and dad made it out, because it's crazy. We lost everything in that house. Everything. And it started with a little electrical fire from a space heater. that I forgot to unplug going to sleep. I fell asleep without unplugging it, knowing that the wire, it get real hot because it's taped up. You know what I'm saying? And it started a fire. And it was crazy because my dad told me before I went to sleep, yo, make sure you unplug the heater. Don't fall asleep on the heater. Make sure you unplug it before before you fall asleep. And I forgot to unplug it. Next thing you know, I wake up, I'm in flames. Thank God I woke up. God woke me up that night. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I would never, never, ever forget that. Fires ain't no joke. You got to take this serious, man. You got to get fire detectors in your house and fire extinguishers and stuff like that, just to make sure, God forbid, if anything happens, you got alarms that'll go off, or maybe you can contain a fire, by putting it out with an extinguisher, things like that. But it's this is crazy, man. I really don't know what else to say about this. This is very, very sad. Very sad, man.
This is near Topanga Beach Drive. And what we've been watching for about the last hour and a half to 2 hours or so are crews from LA County and Ventura County behind me here that are working to protect what appears to be one home from several other houses that have active flames around that area. There's a house here where we're seeing flames and smoke from. There's also another property along this road right beside that one that every now and then, every so often, we'll get some thick black smoke that comes up. So I believe on the backside of those properties, which we can't see from the road here from Pacific Coast Highway, but on the backside of those properties, it appears that fire crews are working to get a handle on some flames there on the back end of those properties that are threatening this white home that is in the center of this portion of Pacific Coast Highway here. This is the 18,800 block of Pacific Coast Highway. It has just been so unpredictable, as we know, how this fire burns. There are instances where there is an entire row of homes all gone. And then there are situations like this here where there is one home that is seemingly spared in the middle of a block. It is so unpredictable how that happens. We've heard the comparisons between Lahaina and Paradise up north. And no matter how you want to categorize it, what words you want to use, it is just devastating. And it is something that is unimaginable how the coastline here and these beachfront properties on Pacific Coast Highway, how this part of Malibu and Pacific Palisades has just forever been changed. As I've mentioned in some of my earlier reporting, it's not only just homes, but it's also restaurants and businesses that are popular in this area, like Moon Shadows, that was up a little bit further on Pacific Coast Highway, now reduced to a pile of rubble. We were there a few hours ago. It was still smoldering, but that restaurant that was so popular, a staple in the community, no longer there. Also, the Real Inn, and also Rosenthal Wines, that was known for those popular big chairs and table out front, also no longer there. So we know we've seen homes, we've seen businesses, we've seen schools. The impact of the Palisade fire here, just the impact is just far reaching for everyone in the community. And it is certainly going to be an adjustment as those Santa Ana winds eventually die down over the next day or so, as containment grows on this fire, and as people start coming back into this community to get a look at their property or what was their home. It is going to be very difficult for many to process. And as I've also spoken about in some of my earlier reporting, if you're the people that live in this White House here and your home is spared, you're lucky, you're grateful, you're thankful, you're happy. But there's probably also a bit of sadness in your heart because your neighbors, the people that you've lived beside in very close proximity along the beach here, along the Pacific Ocean, where their homes are no longer standing. So a bit of a mixed emotional bag, but certainly some heavy emotions tonight. And these firefighters doing an incredible job here. We're going to keep an eye on the progress here as they try to protect this home. For now, we're live along Pacific Coast Highway in Malibu. I'm Michelle Fisher. I'll throw it back to you guys in the studio. Mark.
All right, Michelle, as you and Joy have pointed out, homes that survived this fire in the Palisades area, sadly are a rarity from what we have been able to see, both anecdotally and from the totals released to us thus far by fire officials and other leaders in the city and county of Los Angeles. As we check in again on the Eaton fire, where 5 people have lost their lives and hundreds of homes and other structures have been lost, we're going to check in once more with Leanne Suter. Leanne?
Yeah, Mark, it's kind of, I feel like a broken record, unfortunately. It's the same scenario over and over again, but I'm going to show it to you. We are on Grandeur Avenue, directly between Mountain View and
5
Figueroa
fatalities,
Drive.
y'all. 5
This is what we're
fatalities.
seeing again. We're back to all of the gas
5 fatalities, man. That's sad.
lines that are burned.
You got people losing their life, losing their homes. This is a bad feeling, man. And it's uncontrollable because it's spreading everywhere through the air. It's just the fires is just spreading. Like the ashes from the air is just going to the next house, burning it down. Just one little flame, one little piece of flame that's gonna blow over from the air and just start from the outside and just burn. That fire spreads so fast. You can't control it. You can't. Even a fire, you see the fire department out there, they probably don't even have enough water to put this shit out. Like, it's just so bad, man.
Burning that have become separated because of the fires, and then all of these charred homes here. As I said, we are on Grandeur Avenue, strictly between Mountain View and Figueroa, and every house on this street essentially has been burned to the ground. It's just on repeat, all of this destruction, and it's just such a similar scene where you see all of their belongings.
This is a different part.
To rubble.
This is a different part of California too. This is a different part. I don't know if it's a different county or whatever. I don't know how it's set up out there. I don't know if they got counties. I'm pretty sure they got counties and all that, but this is a different part. This is Altadena, California. So they went from Malibu, California to Altadena, California. And like I said, it's just spreading. The fire just spreading all over, man. It's nothing nobody can do. The news can just report on it. They can report if people passed away. Like 5 fatalities, that's probably just an estimate of how many people passed away. I'm pretty sure it's way more people that passed away that they can't even count, can't even keep count. Like it's crazy, man.
Well, there literally is nothing left. Some walls standing. This house has a shell. You can see one wall remaining there. And as we come out here, I'm going to have Brian Miller start to walk out here. I'm just going to give you an idea. As I said, this is just one home on the street. As we head out the driveway, I'll be able to give you a better idea of what we're talking about. And I know you guys have been seeing it as I drop my phone in the process. You guys have seen it on repeat going into other fires too. You know, the scene that we've seen in the Palisades as well. So as we come out here, there is a house on the corner that was damaged. There's one here. And then let's head to the south if we can, Brian. And just as we walk along, it's kind of what we did earlier, just when we drove along. We had done a kind of a show and tell to give people an idea of what we're talking about, so you can appreciate just how much damage there is as we're driving along the streets. This one, we're just walking along. Another home here. We continue down, and there's one home standing at the end of the street. It has a little bit of damage, so I'm not sure how much of it has damage. I'm not sure if they'll consider it a total loss, but this one is burned, continuing. Just home after home after home burned. And so now the folks that come in will have to rebuild. But this is going to take so much time. Even the homes that are standing, Mark, I have to say, I don't know how you come back in, because there's going to be so much cleanup. And the cleanup from fires like this it's very specific, and there are rules to it. You can't just come in with any kind of bulldozer and do it. They really want to make sure that Brian, you're getting caught on something here. They have to make sure that you do the cleanup in a proper way because of the contaminants. So anybody that is living around here, I'm not sure how easy it would be to even stay in that home, because there's going to take so much time to clean this up, and then you'll begin the rebuilding efforts. But until then, it's going to be a slow process. You also have to deal with the insurance.
Got to go back in and rebuild your home from scratch, from the ground up. You got to clean all this mess up and start all over again. Like I said, if you fortunate that you got money, some people can afford this, but you got a lot of people that can't afford to start all over again, man. Like you got people that had their house for years and years and years, and they just lost it because of the fire. They lost everything that was inside of it. They couldn't save nothing. The only thing is you can replace everything you lost, but you can't replace your life. So the main thing, we got to keep the main thing, and the main thing is if you made it out these fires, then praise God because you can rebuild and start all over again. Even though it's going to take a long time to do it, it's going to take a long time. But you got your life and you can do it. That's the main thing. Rebuild. You're alive to rebuild. It's sad that you got to go through this, whoever is going through it, but you can rebuild. That's the main thing.
Insurance issue, and as we've heard so many of these residents saying up in this area, many of them have had such a struggle getting insurance. Either they didn't have it because they have recently been dropped, which has happened to so many living up and near wildfire areas.
Oh, that's another thing. If you got insurance, that's a good thing too. If you got insurance, the insurance will cover everything, or probably majority will help you rebuilding your house. If you got home insurance, it's good to have home insurance too. But like I said, a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people can't afford that. You know what I mean? So for the ones that can't afford it, then you gotta just take it one day at a time. Take the shit one day at a time because I just really don't know what else to say because it's sad, man. Well, I'm gonna report on this for another couple minutes, then we're gonna go over to the next topic.
Areas, or they were able to finally find it, but at extraordinary rates. We spoke to one resident earlier today. His home had burned to the ground. He had said that his insurance company had dropped him a couple of months ago, but he luckily was able to find some insurance at a rate that was 5 times what he had. So, but he was grateful he had it. But there are so many that we have spoken to that don't have insurance just because they had been dropped by so many of these insurance companies. That's going to be another huge factor of this story, of just trying to rebuild and find the money in order to be able to do it. I'm going to move out of some of the smoke that I can see is coming this way. But the cleanup's going to take a long time, and it's going to be a very slow process. I heard Tim Caputo just talking about it, and he had a great line, and it was so appropriate. These fires start fast, but the end of it is very slow. And while there is no open flame, no open wildfire burning right now that we can see, containment still stands at 0%, and they are not lifting those evacuation orders yet. And it's probably going to be some time before they do, but that's because they have to deal with these issues with all of the gas lines burning. We have seen more of the Edison.
The way to start off 2025, man. California having probably the craziest wildfire ever. This is probably the craziest wildfire ever. From what I'm hearing, from what I'm seeing. Way to start off 2025, man. Sheesh.
Crews coming in trying to
Leanne.
trying to do it here.
Yeah, Leanne, we've
I mean,
Thank you for that live report. We have come to the end of our broadcast of our fire coverage today. It has been another day and night of explosive fire danger. Our crews on the ground and in the air have been working around the clock under horrendous conditions to bring you all this information, life-saving information in many cases, and we are not done yet. Eyewitness News will return at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. Right now, our fire coverage will continue.
We are staying with our live team coverage of this Eyewitness News special.
Yeah, so we'll talk about these wildfires at another later date. We're going to go to the next topic. Once again, I'd like to send my condolences to everybody over there in California that's affected by this wildfire, by this disaster. Let's just have a moment of silence. All right. It's sad, man. That's very, very, very sad. if you like this video, just hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you come across this video, I'm still trying to grow my channel, trying to cover all different topics and stuff like that. You know, trying to be a little bit versatile, things of that nature. Let's go to the next topic. The next topic is Cameron versus Jim Jones beef. We're gonna talk about this for a little bit because I don't really know too much about it. So we're gonna do a little 8-minute John and watch this video real quick and see what they talking about on this. Let's get right into it.
You did the interview with 50.
For the younger audience, we had like a rap battle thing at one time. And 50, what you did, so we was having interior problems at Dipset. Nobody knew about this. Nobody knew that we was like not on the same page. Right. So when me and you were battling during our music thing, you got members of Dipset to come to the show.
Them niggas be on my dick, right? Them niggas ain't got nothing else to think about but Capo. I did a lot for them niggas in their life, you heard? Both of them. Pause though, get off my dick. There's only space on there for baby girl, man. Come on, man. Tugging on my shit like that.
So Jim Jones told Cameron, get off my dick. He didn't say it specifically, but we all know what he's talking about. But I don't know. Cam brought that shit up, and Jim Jones speaking about that situation. You know, he said, get off my situation, you know, man. Get off my Johnson. Get off my sack.
You never clear shit up. We never hear your side of the story.
Kim was like, I thought we could pull it together. Next thing I know, I see Jim performing with
That
me.
nigga ain't think nothing. He could pull nothing together. He couldn't do nothing with me. He couldn't tell me nothing, nigga. Like, let's not get this shit twisted. Like, nigga, nobody could tell me nothing, nigga. I was my own boss. I did what I did as a fucking soldier because I was a soldier, nigga. You heard? I had the soldiers, nigga. Nigga didn't tell me nothing. You heard? I did what I wanted to do. I seen the shit wasn't going right, so I started doing what Jim Jones needed to do for Jim Jones. Because the nigga that was supposed to be the Don wasn't taking care of the capo. Started feeling like the Gotti movie.
You seen this shit before it happens, what you tell, like everything.
Mm-hmm. It started with Mace. He didn't do the right thing.
That's the one question I wanted to ask you. I'm a little bit too young to understand. Like I just was able to be like, I was able to be like a teen. Like
I watched Mace shit on Cam and everybody around him.
Wow.
A bitch like all the time. You heard? Like I was there the whole time, but I was Cam's man. You heard? Cam and Mace were so-called best friends, grew up together, and R.I.P. Huddy. Like I was there for everything. That's one thing that people can't never say is that I wasn't there for every single thing.
What was your problem with Mace? Like, how did that all happen? Because that was Cam, man, like you said.
Cam enemies were my enemies. Okay. Anybody Cam didn't like, I didn't like. And I already see how he was handling Cam, so I definitely didn't like him. You dig? And then I seen how much love Cam had for him and how Cam was jumping out the window for him, which a friend should and shit like that. Like, being overprotective, making sure nothing happened. Like, he was trying his best to make sure that.
All right, man. Sorry about the camera. Had to jump with a new phone, man.
So we gonna skip him because he talking about the same thing I'm talking about. So we gonna go to another video.
A newsflash, a plane's gone down.
Have you heard of the saying, too many cooks spoil the broth? Well, that also applies to large groups, especially when there are multiple leaders. Today's topic is about the Diplomats, or the Dipset crew, who ironically had more members than albums. They entered the rap scene with Cameron's success and quickly gained a gold certification for their album. However, things went downhill after they added 3 more members. The group suffered from artistic differences, released only 1 more album, affiliated themselves with even more artists, and eventually disbanded. Although Dipset was an international act, they had plenty of internal feuds. Let's discuss those conflicts without further ado. What up, guys? Ali here, and welcome to Ali Talks Music. Add me on Instagram at Ali Talks Music as well. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Now let's get into the video. Dipset as a group was a dream between childhood friends Jim Jones and Cameron. Around 1997, they recruited Cameron's cousin Freaky Zeke and formed the Diplomats. Around 1999, they added just one more member, Joel Santana.
As far as how I got cool with Joel's one of my dudes I grew up with. He telling me about this kid he got to live on his block, but I didn't really have my shit together. I just was in the middle of doing my second album. My first deal ain't go right. So he keep telling me about this kid, and I'm like, yo, I'll get to it when I get to it. And he was driving me around one day, and I was asleep. And when I woke up, Joel's in the back seat, and I was kind of mad about it. I'm like, yo, my nigga, I told you, this ain't really the time to do this shit. And he started rapping, and he was good. I was like, yo, this kid is kind of nice. Then I bring him to the studio. He was busting songs out. One of my homegirls, just when I started paying attention to artists, no homo. One of my homegirls was like, yo, he's cute. He can rap. He's marketable. And I'm like, he cute. You know, and you gotta, I was too young to look at him like image-wise, you know what I'm saying? That mentality. And she's the one put the bug in my ear, like, yo, you should fuck with him. And I did, but my man that I grew up with since I was like 6 years old introduced me to him.
Their four-man lineup was now complete, and the original four became the longest-standing members of the group and also the biggest reason for discord. However, they were all loyal to their frontman Cameron, who was already an established rapper with a record deal. Although the group did not appear as a collective, all three members featured strongly on Cameron's second album, SDE, around 2000. SDE was a commercial success, peaking at number 14 on the Billboard 200. However, Cameron soon had issues with Epic as they did not like his third album offering. After this, he knew that his direction and the direction of his proteges lay elsewhere. In Cameron's own words, he said the following: I recorded the third album on Epic, and they said they didn't hear any songs they like. And me and Dame were like, y'all are bugging. So I just became a problem to the point where they didn't want to work with me anymore. I didn't go to the studio, radio, or nothing. I was a total asshole. I made it so it was cheaper to get rid of me. After leaving Epic Records, Cameron signed a deal with another one of his childhood friends, Dame Dash, who was also the head of Rockefeller. All three members of his crew were signed to Rockefeller, and he worked with them even more closely on his third album. I've got Joel Santana and Jimmy Jones coming out. Everybody wanted to sign Joel's, but Rockefeller came with the right paper. He was on my last album, SDE too. Epic didn't want to sign him, so I'm sure they feel like shit. Everything's finally coming together. Basically, it made me realize that I've been on the wrong team with the right music. So I'm just happy to have the right music be on the right team. After signing with Rockefeller, the Diplomats began putting out music. They appeared heavily on Cameron's 2002 album, Come Home With Me, featuring on 9 out of 15 tracks. The album went platinum, and both singles from the album also went platinum, namely Hey Ma and Oh Boy.
Hey Ma, let's slide. Alright. We gon' get it on tonight.
The success confirmed that Cameron had made the right decision in moving to Rockefeller. The crew got down to work. They released 3 mixtapes around 2002 and dropped their debut album Diplomatic Immunity around 2003. And the album sold about 92,000 copies in the first week, earning a gold certification 2 months later. The album also spawned several successful singles and featured appearances from DMX and Hell Rell, amongst others. Around 2003, the group released volumes 4 and 5 of their mixtape series and added new members Hell Rell, 40 Cal, and J.R. Ryder. Tensions began to arise between Cameron and Jay-Z after the release of their debut album. As a result, they severed ties with Rockefeller soon afterwards.
It started when they didn't get Jay's opinion or input on trying to make me the president. You know what I'm saying? But you could see Jay-Z starting to distance himself. He'll be around, but you could see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if nigga come to office 5 days a week, Jay-Z wasn't, not saying respected, he wasn't digging how shit was being ran when he wasn't around. That's what I think. And, because when I got there, Jay wouldn't come to office every day. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think he necessarily liked everything that was going on in the office, whether it's decisions being made without him being talked to about it or anything like that, to where he probably was planning to do shit on his own before it came to light anyway.
The group then released their second album, Diplomatic Immunity 2.
Niggas wearing a shirt.
So I'm gonna skip a little bit of that because I want to see how they started beefing.
It was just a joke. I didn't know he took that shit serious, B. He took it serious. And to this day, I'll be man enough. I apologize about doing that. I really do apologize about that. But it's not from the perspective of that's my man. We fucked some bitches together last week, 2 weeks ago, a month ago. I didn't know it was like that. It was going to turn to this, and I'm happy how they really should grow. After I did that shirt, though, everything was downhill. And niggas start acting like it's the big.
Especially when Cameron made Tricky Ricky shirts, mocking Jim's relationship with Chrissy Lampkin. Although the feud had not yet been made public and was more rumor than substance, Cameron remembers this as the moment their friendship began to disintegrate. The feud finally became public knowledge around 2007, with Jim Jones referencing it in an interview with Miss Info on Hot 97. In the interview, he shared how long the divide between him and Cam had gone, saying, "Me and Cameron haven't spoken to each other in a year. I kept quiet out of loyalty. I felt like if we can't be friends, then at least we can do business together. But now, I can't be next to you. I'm through being in hot water because of you. We still the diplomats. We worked too hard to achieve our own success, and now we're gonna do something new." Until then, Cameron did not comment on their situation. Music was still technically being released by the group, and none of the members had confirmed the rumors of a split. However, they did allude to internal cracks in interviews. When Jim Jones and Joel Santana appeared alongside 50 Cent at a concert, many people thought the group was over. However, 40 Cal shut down the rumor of a split. He said the following: "It's one of those family affairs. It's like your pops don't talk to your uncle. It's like we all at the same cookout, but we just don't sit at the same table. We all at the same cookout repping the same family. Everybody is screaming Dipset, but we just not eating at the same table. We might be eating off the same grill, but we just sitting at different tables." He also admitted that everybody in the group had different relationships with each other, and some people did not get along with other group members. At this point, it was very clear to the public that the group was slowly dissolving. Although no clear statement was released to the public, they all began focusing on their own solo careers, ventures, and forming their own groups. 40 Cal began a group called Scheme Team, while Freaky Zeke formed the group 730 Dips, as well as the label 730 Dips Records, while concurrently working with Jim Jones's group, Bird Gang. Stack Bundles also formed a part of the group until his untimely death the following year. On the other hand, Cameron became even more reclusive, spending time on his own, though many didn't know that he was taking care of his sick mother at the time. By the end of 2007, both Cameron and Jim Jones had publicly acknowledged that they were not speaking to each other. Jim Jones acknowledged the collapse of Dipset and stated that Cameron was the problem. Cameron, meanwhile, did not talk much about the situation, acknowledging that he and Jim were not on speaking terms and little else. "I still haven't spoken to Jim. Everybody thinks I'm mad at him. Why am I mad? I told people for years that Jimmy was gonna be a star, so it's better on my resume. I wish him the best." Around 2008, the internal conflicts began to reach the public outside of just Jim Jones and Cameron. Harrell admitted that he was no longer a part of the Diplomats and had launched his own group, Top Gunners. J.R. Reiter had also launched the group Thunderbirds, meaning that all the members that joined the group late had distanced themselves from the group. Joel Santana finally began his own group, Skull Gang, and also got involved in the tension between Jim Jones and Cameron. He admitted that he was no longer signed to Capitol and finally acknowledged the group's internal conflicts. He said the following: "I have no hard feelings towards Cam. I couldn't do business with him, but I would say he gave me the biggest chance I needed. I'm a dude from the hood, so the chance he gave me is a chance I needed to never turn back. I'm good. My artistry, my talent, My career was never built on controversy, so I would never come out and say a whole bunch of things that could be said. All I can say is, I'm sorry he can't be here to be a part of what's about to happen, because we're about to tear him up. By around 2009, Cameron had returned from his reclusive hiatus. He was also seemingly back with a vengeance. The rapper formed his own group, one called UN or Us Now, and released just one album with them called Guns and Butter.
I go for the home run. You the type to brunt.
Began taking interviews again and began feuding with his once favorite protege, Joel Santana. It all began when Cameron did an interview with XXL. In the interview, Cameron accused Joel Santana of being addicted to codeine. After that, the once loyal Joel Santana began openly bashing the other members of the group in public. This is what he had to say. For him to say he stopped messing with me because I was drinking syrup, that's like Baby saying he don't mess with Wayne because he was drinking syrup. He just wanted to say something, and that was probably the only way he could say something and keep his character up. I was never addicted to syrup. I used to drink it on occasion. I don't know where that came from. His comments were a shocker to me. Like, damn, you would stoop low like that? With his stomach situation, he was doing Percocet. It's not for me to say, because he was using Percocet. I stopped speaking to Cam. You'll say, I do Percocet because of my stomach. But I've seen you do Percocet when your stomach is not bothering you. So that's beside the point. Cameron also began doing other interviews and publicly spoke about the split that happened with Dipset. In an interview with Angie Martinez, Cameron admitted that he hadn't spoken to Joel Santana in about 3 years and that their friendship would never be the same again.
You don't start drinking scissor or Robitussin. You know what I'm saying? You got hooked on it, addicted to it. You go to the studio, he has a Hawaiian, like 100 Hawaiian punches already pre-mixed with this stuff in it. You know what I'm saying?
Explained that once things reached the public, it was over for them. Meanwhile, while Cameron was finally getting public about the group's breakup, Jim Jones was experiencing a softer turn of heart. He began opening up the possibility of a reunion and hinting that he would not be opposed to working with his former groupmates. From the sound of things, Jim Jones wanted to make some money as a group. We possess the hottest thing in hip-hop that hasn't happened yet, and everybody knows it. We damn near could be one of the reasons to make hip-hop a lucrative thing again, and that being the Diplomat. If we put it back together, there's a 50% chance because I'm in. Smell me? And that's a high percentile. Now, while Jim Jones is open to a reunion, every single member of Dipset seemed to have a different opinion on what was going on. Cameron then said he called Jim Jones to smooth things over. It was cordial. He knew it was me. He said we was gonna holla, maybe we'll put something together. But in the immediate future, I'm just doing Cam. But you never know what can happen down the line. I called Zeke's phone, and I guess Zeke gave Jim the phone to pick up. We just talked, asked about each other's family. He said he's on a promo tour, he'd be back soon. That was that. Jim, however, seemed to have no clue what Cameron was talking about. I don't know what that's about. Everyone's been telling me about that. I'm the only person who doesn't know about it. I don't know what he's talking about. After that statement, Cameron acknowledged that the group would not get back together. From his perspective, the group was too fractured to even attempt it. Now at this point, it seemed like a reunion was never going to happen. However, about half a year later, despite the members of the group denouncing a reunion, Cameron and Jim Jones called into the Miss Info show to publicly end their feud and discuss a comeback. Jim spoke first, acknowledging that he had been a rude brother and apologized for not handling things privately. Cameron then mentioned that he was over their beef. He clarified that he and Jim were on speaking terms again, and clarified that once the business aspects of their reunion was settled, then he would return to Dipset. Soon after this, the Diplomats released a teaser video called Under Construction. In the video, the original members of the group arrived at a construction site wearing hard hats and looking at blueprints for a new project. This set fans into a frenzy. A single then followed called Salute, proving that the group still had the same energy as they did around the year 2000. 2010, Freaky Zeke announced that he had opened up a restaurant, a club, and invested in condos. He also hinted that Dipset signed a deal with Interscope, which was confirmed by February of 2011. However, 2 years later, and the group had not released an album. According to Joel Santana, he was the reason why the album had not come out. According to him, he just wasn't feeling it yet and didn't have the motivation.
So we gonna dive into this a little bit more on another video. I just wanted to get the details of how they started beefing, or if they even is beefing. I don't know, but all this is transpiring into the day. This is all old, but the Cam and Jim Jones shit that just happened, that just was recently said, that's new. So I just wanted to dive into how did it come to that? Like, it don't seem like nothing major. It's just they had a falling out. Probably over some money and egos was involved and stuff like that. But we gonna talk about that at another on another video. We gonna dig deep and a little bit deeper into this. I just wanted to see what was going on. But like I said, a couple years ago, they was all on stage together when they battled the Locks and they did the verses. So I don't know if they probably did it for the money. I don't know if they still tight to this day. Maybe the media is blowing it out of proportion. I don't know, but I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna find out what's going on. But it's your boy G's. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and holla at your boy, man. I will be going live a little bit more, discussing different topics and stuff like that. So it's your boy G's once again. Holla at your boy. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace out.